Good morning, Scott here, known as Cantaloupe to some online, and I'm bringing a video to you on a subject that's interesting to me. It might be of interest to you or someone you know, and that is the misconception that challenges are the same as people being challenging on purpose. There's a difference, and what I mean exactly is that challenges, environmental challenges or job challenges, project challenges, things that are difficult that need to be solved or worked through or around somehow, are different than, say, a person actively and deliberately sabotaging or interfering with something. These are different types of challenges. And the difference specifically is how one should best react to them if necessary. For me, and I will speak for myself, I will never get frustrated by a challenge that I brought about to myself, if in fact that's what happened. It's just, a matter of work ethic and having a positive attitude, being constructive and, forward focused and solution oriented. But there are people who deliberately involve themselves sometimes in what you're working on, and that this is different, and it should seem different because it is. You have a duty at that point, if it is a matter of somebody else's will, to deprogram that, to defend yourself against that, not just for yourself, but for your team. If you have a team, if you have a family, if you have dependents, you have an obligation to resist and defend against people actively and deliberately sabotaging your stuff. That's not an ordinary challenge. And my point is that it's different than an ordinary challenge. So this will be a short video, but last thing I want to say is there is also an opportunity to understand an abuse that goes around where people will try to confuse these two things. They will say, oh, well, those aren't stumbling blocks, those are building blocks, when it's fully obvious that a person is doing something on purpose. And they will, create the illusion and the impression to you and other people, if you allow it, that you just lack the resourcefulness or the work ethic or the skills or the patience to surmount these ordinary challenges, when in fact they're not ordinary, they're people. It's a different class of challenges. No, it really is. And you have a different obligation. You have an obligation to control those people when they're trespassing, when they're doing what's called unfair practice, unfair competition. It can manifest in many different ways. And in fact, there are laws against it. If it becomes big enough, if it becomes organized enough, there are laws against things that are called unfair competition in business, where a company is allowed to and encouraged to flex and do all their own stuff and be innovative and invest and be creative and hardworking as much as they possibly can, up to the point where they are actively interfering with other businesses. That's where the law kicks in. There's protection against that because it's contrary to having a healthy economy, and it's just obviously not fair or appropriate. So that's the difference. And last thing I want to say is people will try to confuse these things for people. They'll say, oh, well, it's just an ordinary challenge, and if you had a better attitude while they're, throwing a wrench in your spokes or whatever, there's nothing ordinary about that. That's not a challenge at all. That's a person. Something different. The wrench didn't do that. They did. That's the difference. Have a great day, and reach out with questions or comments to whitehotrobot@gmail.com. Thank you.